All right, we are live.
Oh, hello, children. Welcome to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast. I am Otto Dassing, and tonight I am joined with Weekend Jared.
Yeah, baby. What's up?
Alex Schlegel.
Good to see everybody back on the Facebook, you extremist.
And speaking of extremists, we have Extremist Bab.
Extreme
To the extreme. Oh man, so we have took a little week off there. We just got back from Pork Fest, so at least Extremist and Alex and I we were in up in New Hampshire. But before we get started tonight, I do want to say it kind of sucks to have to talk about this, but one of a few. He's been on the show a few times. Nick Castleterra, he passed away in a car accident a few days ago, and I mean he was actually in our Anarchy Basement a few times. And,
oh fuck!
And they just found out that he died today.
God damn!
So I just want to say rest in peace, man, and sucks, but we're gonna in this episode's for you, man.
Oh yeah.
Damn, dude, that sucks, man. I remember speaking of Pork Fest, last time I hung out with it was probably the last time I hung out with him. It was hooked him up with some he bought some heady toppers from me. Yeah.
That's right. We talked about that too.
Yeah, dude,
when we were
that
at
sucks,
Pork
man.
Fest.
Or you know what? That sucks, man. It might have been the last time he was visiting Baltimore. Yeah, fuck, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. He was on, and it was funny because I was just thinking about the story about how him and Big Ethan they got into a fight, and the first time he was in Anarchy Basement, and it was pretty funny.
I actually
funny
missed
story.
that, but I heard it was like a total shit show.
Yeah, I missed it too.
He got Nick got really drunk and just started getting belligerent with Ethan, and the podcast is still out there if you guys want
Well,
to check
Ethan
it
draws that out of people though.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
I love the guy, but he's he draws it out of you.
He's not even on Facebook anymore, I don't think.
Really? Oh, we gotta get him back on the show, man.
I know. I would love to have him back on.
it's too extreme for Facebook.
He is a little extreme.
But
yeah, so we're doing this special Friday night episode because we're gonna take the Extremist holiday off. So we're gonna give you a special Friday night episode here. There's so much stuff to talk about. I mean, everything happened while we were up.
Can we just roll the video right now and let people begin to celebrate this holiday a little bit early?
Fireworks.
This is a treat. I feel like this is a treat that all of our fans deserve to enjoy immediately.
let's kick this 4th of July weekend off properly.
Let's fucking do it.
All right, here you go, people. Wait, make sure I'm at the beginning here. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
17 people have been injured as Los Angeles police detonated an illegal fireworks cache.
5,000 pounds of explosives.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Next customer.
Oh, here's another angle.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Stay back. No.
Oh,
Stay back.
Yeah.
Just tell everyone to
They had to do that for safety reasons.
Holy shit.
Oh, look at the cars right next to it. Oh, fuck, dude.
For people that are listening to the audio only version of the podcast, that you're missing some incredible pyrotechnics as the police do what they do best, just fuck shit up on. I mean, this is karma. This is karma. Thank God the extremists aren't enjoying those fireworks, on this weekend. But
the windows of a nearby shop are completely blown out.
Dude, how stupid is this? How stupid?
God. Holy shit, that laundromat's they fucked up that whole community.
they were
dude.
just
cars.
It looked like it was a poor. I mean, I don't want to.
It looks like that coin laundry will never be the same.
No,
I don't want to. I don't want to sound racist, but I mean, they showed a bunch of what looked like Hispanic people watching. So it's.
Well, I mean, it's in
probably
Los
a poor. It could be a poor. Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
It could be like a poor Hispanic neighborhood or something. I don't know that for sure, but
they got a huge cachet from their
whatever
cousins
it is
in Mexico.
It's more poor now.
yeah,
Right.
it's definitely not richer for the experience. That's for sure.
Yeah,
No.
so many cars, like so many
However-
people will not be getting to work because their cars were fucked up by the police.
Yeah.
However, it does enrich our show and the
It does-
entertainment.
it does
and
make
the joy
good
that we can
content.
feel in this important season as we want to reflect on what government means to us. This is a nice thing to enjoy. So thank you for sharing that, Jared.
Yep.
Yes.
They
They literally
got a shout out from a fellow Jew here.
Fellow Jew, hello to Jared.
Hey, Robert.
Are you guys plotting something?
Yeah.
Looks like more extremists out there. Yeah.
I'll see you at the bank later.
another Mossad agent.
Yeah, I'll see you at the
Yeah.
Mossad meeting later.
Oh man, God. So yeah, so there was that, and then it's funny because the state does that, but yet they like to. They've been calling us extreme. It started off with the president meat puppet. He
Was it CGI Joe or Meat Puppet Joe?
this could be either. We don't know.
It's hard to tell, right?
I don't know. The reptilian loves the shapeshift.
Fucking neat Joe.
Are we talking? Are we talking about Klaus Schwab again?
Klaus Schwab.
I swear to God, he must. I think he's running things now. It's just like people are just like, well, whatever Klaus Schwab says, we're doing. Like Facebook, the president, anybody. Like you look at anybody out there, they're like they got the playbook from Klaus Schwab,
Santa
for
Claus,
the Great Reset, and they're just going for it. So,
right? No, it definitely feels that way.
We've got a question. Is this extreme content from
This
Bebo?
is extreme content.
This is extreme content.
you
This
have
is
been
extreme
exposed.
content.
You've
Yeah,
been
you've been
exposed.
exposed.
Seek help immediately.
Well, there was a help desk for that too. But yeah, so what did
I wish I
Joe
had
Biden-
clicked on that. I never did. Anybody click on it to see what kind of
Yes.
help you get? Okay.
Yes, I did.
And what kind of help
Did it ask you to report like specific people?
Well, let's not jump. Let's jump. I want to know what the president said. I want to hear
All
this
right.
full quote because I've only heard speculations. I didn't really hear the full quote. So if we want to do, is it a video? The play?
Wait, are we talking about the? What are we talking
the
about?
F-16 or the what is it?
Okay, yeah. All right, here we go.
Well,
Let me cue this bad boy up.
okay, yeah. I have not seen this video, but apparently this is the president making threats. It's not the first time he's done it. This is what's embarrassing. We have, I don't know, like what isn't this? Yeah, this is literally the second time I think he's threatened to murder citizens. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Enough rogue gun dealers feel like they can get away with selling guns to people who aren't legally allowed to own them. And I might add, the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun.
What? Yeah, white people.
Those who say the blood of the
Hold on, listen to him
the
stumble
blood of
through this.
patriots, you know, and all the stuff about how we're
All the stuff.
move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that it's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned and who can own it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, that guy's the president. Holy crap!
I mean, is he? Is he though?
I mean, is he though? I thought
No,
Klaus Schwab
seriously, he was. I mean, look, did you see him squinting at the teleprompter? I mean,
Oh my god.
He does
Was.
this
Well, you
move.
can
He
see him
always-
like forgetting
he
his
always
like,
rubs.
how to
Yeah, he's
talk.
always
He was
rubbing
like,
his
Wait a
temple.
second. What am I
I
doing
feel
here?
like-
Where am I?
is he getting his necessary adrenochrome? Because he doesn't
I
look
don't
so
think
good.
so. Yeah.
Well, Epstein Island's been, shut down. Ghislaine is locked up. Apparently, a judge is apparently unsealing the docs. So who knows? That adrenochrome trade might be on
It might
shut
be drying
down,
up.
drying up.
Well,
so he's
listen,
he's
I'm
withering away. His reptilian
Yeah, I'm just
skin
gonna-
is like coming through his like flesh suit. Yeah.
Possibly. I think I'm just gonna throw one out here to Klaus Schwab. A little bit of advice. Okay, like it's time to get the CGI Joe thing working. Okay, the Meat Joe is a failure, dude.
Yeah.
You seem to be having a lot of success with it anyway. but this is doomed to failure. That dude he's just like not like an addict nodding off, or what the hell is he? I don't know what he's doing.
He's like a leaner in Baltimore, dude.
Yeah, he's oh my god. Yeah. It's the CGI. He's glitching out. It's glitching out.
Get him, and you know what? Get him, like, move the teleprompter closer so he doesn't have to squint his beady little eyes.
Right? Or maybe kick up the
Well,
font.
honestly, what's probably happening is everything's leading towards Kamala taking the reins. They got to slowly ease him out.
Show it, show the decline so everybody believes it when they need to transfer power to Kamala. That'd be great. Well, I think it's that's the police state America wants right now, right? Like, did you see the numbers on federal spending for new police officers? Like, he just freaking doubled Trump's spending.
It was more than doubled it.
Hey, no worries, guys.
And it was spending on hiring police.
Right. This is where the federal government sends a check to your local police department and says, you should have more cops. Here's hundreds of millions of dollars. Go nuts. Right.
You need a whole fleet of Bearcats now.
Because obviously you're not arresting enough people. So you're going to need more cops. Yeah. And then if you need Bearcats, we've got those over here. So are you a school board having a problem with truancy? We've got grenade launchers. I mean, I'm not making that up. It's true.
But wait. You can't have a grenade launcher because we have F-15s and we'll nuke you. So,
right. But I feel like if you're going to at least take on the LA school board, you should be able to match them with equal grenade launchers.
Right. Or some states, like I believe New York State was trying to pass a state law to ban body armor. It's like making it a felony. Or if you're a felon, you can't buy body armor, or if you buy it, you're a felon. Yet I can't, just to protect myself. And we got the president glitching out saying, hey, I might nuke you. I might come in, might bring in the F-15s in low and strafe your whole neighborhood, you extremists. You know what I mean?
Right. But, we already know who you extremists are, thanks to Zuck.
Facebook is labeling me an extremist, and in some states I can't, I gotta give you fingerprints in the state of Maryland just to purchase a new fucking handgun. You know what I mean? Like, I got to go through this whole process to get a license and pay the state just to buy a fucking handgun. And the president of the United States is just glitching out saying he might, I don't know. Hey, let's just drop a nuke, Maybe that's
I got two words for that.
Maybe that's part of the plan. He'll go out riding it down like in Dr. Strangelove. Like Joe Biden just being dropped on a nuke. Just
cowboy in that shit.
Cowboy in that shit all the way down. But anyway,
all the way into Manhattan.
What the fuck? But hey, this administration is saving us 16 cents on our 4th of July barbecue this weekend, boys. We should thank them.
That's what I heard.
Did you see that? They put out a fucking press release. Can you believe that?
How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Could you imagine thinking, hey guys, this is what's really going to make everyone happy with the administration.
Hey,
well, it's clear that they've been deployed on it's not inflation. It's not inflation. Everybody, hey, next thing you're going to see, what do you bet Facebook starts putting things like it's not inflation on as your top level? Remember when they did voting and then it was the vaccine and it's still COVID this? They're going to be reinforcing the narrative, not inflation. That's not inflation. Not inflation. Don't believe what you're spending. Don't believe the prices you're seeing with your eyes.
Dude, that's the thing. It's like we're gonna be posting Mises and economics in one lesson, or just what the government has done to our money, or just sending people to Zero Hedge, and we'll get flagged for this is extremist content, or this is fact check, this isn't true. We're going to try to red pill people on economics, and I guarantee these platforms and big tech, that'll be the next big thing.
Dude, this tweet is so cringe that they put out.
Right? Can you believe this?
Planning a cookout this year? Catch up on the news.
Oh.
According to the Farm Bureau, what the fuck is the Farm Bureau?
Another
the cost
bureaucracy.
The cost of a 4th of July barbecue is down from last year.
Wow.
It's a fact you must hear. What? I don't even get that. Hot dog. What the fuck? This isn't even. I think Biden wrote this tweet himself. Oh, I get it. Hot dog. The Biden economic plan is working, and that's something we can all relish.
Oh my God! Oh fuck!
Jesus!
You should be impeached just for the bad shtick alone.
Shouldn't that be enough for like China to be like, look, we're going to have to invade the United States. It's out of control over there, and they're going to come in with like a we'll be greeted as liberators, they'll say, and they'll be right. Like we'll actually be like, dude, thank God the Chinese just invaded Washington, so we don't have to see garbage like this crap anymore.
I'm ready to go, dude. You know what? And that'd be a great end to this year. Like all of us on PRL going full on Wolverine against the Red Army.
no, they're going to be the liberators. They're
I know, right?
Be, I
don't know.
Right? They're going to be like the French. They're going to be like the French in the American Revolution.
I don't know. Fucking hell. Well,
fucking hell, man.
Friday night podcast. We should do this more often.
Well, I mean, Facebook now considers us extremists. So
let's not disappoint.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go hard in the paint.
When should you kill a cop, Jared?
Whenever you damn well please.
So it's funny you say that because like the first time I ever was on Punk Rock Libertarians, I got way too drunk and I started talking about when we should have to kill the cops.
We're talking about that Larkin Rose video. Is that what it was?
Well, he had an article, called "When Should You Shoot a Cop?" Yeah, and the first paragraph of the article was like explaining how people will freak out about it without reading the article. They're just going to read the headline and they're going to start freaking out and blah 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 blah, and they're not even going to read this, right?
Yeah,
and sure enough,
that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, I think the answer, there is one good answer that I think to that question is before they shoot you, like some point before then.
I mean, you are allowed to act in self-defense. If someone is attempting to use, deadly force against you, then you have the right to respond with deadly force yourself.
Well, so I think how many hundreds of millions of people in the past 100 years, how many hundreds of millions of people failed to do that calculation correctly?
Right.
Like they waited too long. Hundreds of millions of people answered that question incorrectly. So when we choose for ourselves, think about those hundreds of millions of people murdered by their own governments.
Right.
Is that extremist enough?
No,
not enough.
We are, because insert why, according to Twitter and Facebook.
This is my favorite meme thus far.
Yeah.
So it says, so one of the messages that Facebook is now splashing across our feeds says, "Are you concerned that someone you know is becoming an extremist? We care about preventing extremism on Facebook. Others in your situation have received confidential support. How you can help? Blah 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 blah." And then underneath that, it's
confidential support.
And then underneath of that, it has a picture. It has a picture of Ben Kenobi, and it says, "Well, of course I know him. He's me."
Ah, yes.
Fucking awesome.
Ben Kenobi. Yes.
Ben Kenobi.
All right.
Yeah.
So some of the things when you clicked on that, it tells you what it says. You may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Some of the things says, what arguments do violent groups use to gain followers? Ooh. They may be persuasive. They also use feelings of fear, anger, disappointment to further their cause to get them to join. They may use arguments based on these feelings to convince you that violence is the solution.
Wait, are we talking about the U.S. military, or are we talking about
this is the military recruitment office we're talking about, right?
Yeah. It gets better. It says did you know research has shown that peaceful movements are more successful than violent ones at bringing about social change?
Oh.
And it keeps saying, remember, people have lost friends.
Just ask George Washington.
Remember, people have lost friends, family members, and jobs because they were manipulated into joining violent extremist groups, because probably by the FBI.
Right. Exactly.
So you can protect yourselves and those you love by recognizing and better understanding some of the main talking points. Quote, violence is the only way to achieve change.
Wow.
Well, wait, wasn't that what BLM was saying for like 6 months?
They were saying silence is violence.
What were they saying?
Silence is violence. So,
Okay.
but violence. Oh, so this is another bullet point. They have violence is against the law. Supporting a violent supporting a violent group can negatively impact you and your family.
So you mean like setting up the American flag in your yard? Is that
Right.
what we're talking about?
Or who's that?
Or Blue Lives Matter thin blue line sticker on your bumper? Is that what we're talking about? Or
What if
Or that fuck?
what if you displayed the? What if it was Blue Lives Splatter? Would that be considered extremist?
Ooh.
Hey, that's the reason why we're celebrating this weekend, guys.
isn't that what we just
Right?
watched on video? Kind of.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think there were any casualties.
Well,
No, there weren't. I just got beer in
Do
my
you
eye.
guys remember the early Tea Party? Do you remember the early Tea Party before it, like that, sort of like 5 minutes before it became co-opted by the Republican establishment?
the early
Until,
based
like-
version of it?
yeah, it was pretty. It was good times.
Well, that was
Those
like
were the-
Ron Paul was kind of involved in that initially, right? And then he was
No,
like,
Ron-
I'm out, homie.
Well, we had a
No,
rally.
I'll
We had a
start,
rally, a 4th of July rally in right by the Liberty Bell. Okay, and we had Larkin Rose on stage. We had
Nice.
Stefan Molyneux. I think Michael Bednarik, maybe. Anyway, we had some people up there, and Larkin gets up there and he goes, "The founding fathers were cop killers."
Yeah.
And there's all these Republicans standing around.
Well, I don't remember who was standing around. I think they, at that point, they kind of had this like segregated, like, all right, you'll do we're going to do our Republican speakers here, and then you'll do yours later. I don't remember. It wasn't like a big crowd gathered, but it was right there by Independence Mall, 4th of July weekend. And Larkin's out there calling the founding fathers cop killers, which of course is absolutely correct. And if you want to celebrate the spirit of the holiday or whatever the hell it is, it's about rebellion against government.
Dude, the Tea Party was so base back then because in the early phases, and then both Occupy Wall Street, all the establishment Democrats and progressives jumped in front of that line and co-opted it, and then all the like quote conservative establishment Republicans to make a career jumped in front of the Tea Party line and co-opted it because they realized the forces were like coming together that were like, yo, fuck the Fed, fuck this banking system, fuck these corporate bailouts. They saw like, holy shit, things were coalescing and converging that the establishment shit their pants. And then basically what did they insert? Woke shit, the fucking identity politics. And
the conservative thing, they wanted to make sure that you were being, you had to be anti-immigrant, you had to be anti-China, you had to be anti-free trade,
pro-cop.
Right. So they're like, pro-military, all of that stuff got, like this is now what we're about, like supporting police and troops and saluting and songs and shit like that.
For real, like we went from like 10, 12 years ago when shit was about to go, boogaloo, and basically against Wall Street and the Fed and etc. And now we literally like Occupy was crazy. I mean, I remember they were like occupying down in like the inner harbor of Baltimore for like weeks straight. And my boy Davey and me and a couple other Ron Paul people, we'd go down there and we'd have conversations with people. We'd hand out like end the Fed shit and like document, just anything to kind of have them look at from a perspective of central bank. And they knew it. The forces were coming together and they were scared. And they're like, it was just establishment, insert whatever to distract both sides to go in different directions. Because now you went from that to basically where you would organize with these fucking commie socialists, but they were like, fuck these banks. We're going to march down to Bank of America in downtown Baltimore. And we're going to have like hundreds of progressives. And we would go down there and, try to like persuade them towards the liberty perspective and the Federal Reserve and the central banking and the fiat currency and et cetera, et cetera. And they were receptive and they were like, hey, cool. Like, all right, yeah, come out next week or hang out with us in this. Cause it's like, yeah, fuck Bank of America and all these bailouts, et cetera. But now 10, 12 years later, now like Bank of America has floats on Wall Street at New York Gay Pride Parade. And, they're handing out like all these corporations are like, oh, by the way, like in my fucking Baltimore gas and electric bill, they had to insert like, it's Pride Month. And I'm like you wasted a whole goddamn sheet of paper, put it in an envelope, and had to remind me, oh, by the way, your electric and gas bill is due. We at BG&E are like woke as fuck, you know, and like care about gay pride. Like corporate, all these banks, the whole Wall Street establishment. It's like, hey, by the way, liberals, it's Pride Month. Remember like 10 years ago when you were ready to like burn the motherfuckers down? Like, you know, it's like, what, you know, both movements were co-opted.
Now they're voting for, they vote for Biden.
And all these fucks that have been in the stop, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just these motherfuckers, dude. And now we're the extremists. The people that have kind of like see the forest through the trees and see that this bullshit has like, it's like this divide and
conquer. They don't see it though. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
Fucking dumb. I don't know. I'm like,
they double down on police, and they still say, well, you know, better than some other thing. No, they just doubled the federal funding on cops. You know,
dude,
they're
like boomer talk radio here in Baltimore.
You thought you're going to get student loan?
Yeah. Oh, you thought that was going to be repaid? Like you actually
thought you were going to get reparations?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. You think this Biden? Like, do you see his track record?
Still waiting on my Obama phone. When do I get the Obama phone?
Right? Like, do you think these motherfuckers are ever going to come through on any of their stuff, their fucking promises? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Anyways.
Well, at least Obama closed Gitmo, right?
Right? Right? I want to keep it open to send all these motherfuckers there.
Yeah, right?
You know, I kind of want a petition to keep Gitmo open to send all these motherfuckers there. You know,
and too bad sent there. Fucking Rumsfeld before he died.
Oh yeah,
I know. Damn,
Holy
so close.
Shit.
You can't even like.
I think we should take a moment. I think we need a moment of mourning here, recognizing the passage of Rumsfeld and what. No, it's a sad occasion. Okay, now listen. Whatever you think. Okay, when somebody like that dies of natural causes, it's no cause to celebrate. Okay.
That's fair.
It's a tragedy that he died of natural causes, and that's just a fact. Okay, it means he won. Okay, it means he got away with the shit that he pulled during all those wars, all the people he fucking murdered, all the hundreds of billions of dollars, the trillions of dollars that he helped transfer to the military-industrial complex. That son of a bitch got away with it. You know, he made it to the end of his life without somebody doing what he desered.
I'm saying, like, if you don't go out like Gaddafi, like you didn't. There's
like
for real. You should have went out like Gaddafi,
right?
Like, just saying, man, that would have been something. That would have been like. Yes.
I would rather have Gaddafi alive than in favor for Rumsfeld going out like that. Like the world would be a better place.
Yeah, I mean, Gaddafi didn't do anything to me.
Of course, it would be.
I mean,
he'd be like having the gold dinar and stuff like that out by now.
Right. Like I'd probably be living in Libya right now, you know, like welding gas pipelines over there or some shit, you know, making like basically like, hey, you can make $10 an hour over here as a pipeline welder or whatever the fuck, or like in the mining industry or anything that was going on over there. Because they were threatening the euro and the petrodollar.
I mean, you could still live there. Shit. You could still live there now, man.
Yeah, now they have open slave. They got open slave
let's buy some slaves,
right?
Like a lot.
Like kind of fucking Lisa Rice over there shaking hands with Gaddafi and taking them off the terrorist watch list and etc. But they were their enemies. You know, we bombed them in the 80s. We bombed Gaddafi in the 80s. And then was on the terrorist watch list and they were blacklisted, etc. And couldn't trade embargoes, etc. But then like Condoleezza Rice goes over, shakes his hand, everything's good, you know, because they were involved with the Pan Am terrorist attack where that flight blew up over Scotland.
Yeah.
So like, but then like Condoleezza Rice goes over there, just like fucking Rumsfeld shaking hands with Saddam Hussein in the fucking 80s because we were their fucking arms dealer. And then Condoleezza Rice is over there. And then, you're Gaddafi, you're cool. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Oh, shit. All of a sudden, you're threatening the dollar a couple years later. Oh, now we're going to conjure up some shit send the CIA over and, have a fake revolution over here to get rid of a quote despot because, oh my God, imagine if he created a North Africa Union and actually had basically all their oil and resources backed by a currency that's backed by gold and be like, all right, fuck you. Like European Union, fuck gold. You got to pay us in our currency.
Yeah, kind of going to happen with all these Latin American countries that are talking about using Bitcoin as legal tender. And, we talked about this on the last show, I think, but El Salvador, it already got approved by their Congress or whatever. And then there's there's some other countries in Latin America that are interested in doing the same thing. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, already, I think they asked for like help. I don't know why they would need help from the fucking WHO or whatever, but they asked, or not WHO, one of those fucking like World Economic.
The World Bank or something.
Yeah, the World Bank.
IMF.
I'm sure Klaus Schwab is in on it.
Yeah, they asked Klaus like, "Yo, give us a hand," and he was like, "Nah."
The other thing
into the fucking plan. But I mean.
Sorry,
just finish
Jim,
this thought though. But yeah.
El Salvador.
Yeah. I mean, already they're not, very warm to the idea of this sort of disruption of the, global dollar hegemony. But
right.
I mean, there's only so much they can do. They're not going to be able to launch full scale wars on every Latin American country, I don't think.
Yeah, well, which one haven't they invaded
at once
yeah,
that might be
we
hard.
don't have to do it that way, I mean, there's other ways. That was it. I didn't bring it up when we talked about that in El Salvador. Actually, one of my coworkers, he's from El Salvador, and he's like machinist, welder. He works there, and like he has family that still lives there. So when he was like, yeah, did you hear about El Salvador with the Bitcoin? I was like, yeah, holy shit. And we had a conversation about that because he still has family that lives there.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about that. Do you ever think about moving back or whatever? And he's thinking about it. And he said, there's a lot of industry. And I told him about, they're basically going to create energy from the volcanoes. And he was, before that story even broke or before I knew about it, he was saying like, yeah, there's a lot of sites within El Salvador that they're doing mining. And he said they're all like fenced off and very like secured area. He said where the military is. So he's kind of like, so I'm like,
are they doing Bitcoin mining or like other like gold mining?
Well, that's the thing too. The other aspect of it, he says that because it's on the Ring of Fire. And the other thing too, I mean, obviously English is his second language. So there is a little bit when we're having a conversation, like I kind of miss some things, but he basically was telling me that because being in the Ring of Fire, he said there's a lot of mines with plutonium. And he said they're very high security. So you wonder, like, maybe if they're like, if the powers that be are like, hey, El Salvador, like, you can have a Bitcoin backed currency, do that, but there's something else in your country that's why we're not going to, you know what I mean? Like countries that have things, I guess maybe, I don't know. It sounds a little conspiratorial, but he was saying that that's been going on for like a couple of years now where there's these sites that they're like very high security by the military, but they're clearly like mining and construction sites where it's like, what are they up to? So I don't know.
I mean, maybe they want a nuclear program.
Or like a volcano lair for a supervillain.
Right. Cool. Who knows?
Yeah. Briefly going
maybe
back
we could be, maybe we could have like an extremist like headquarters in a volcano in El Salvador,
right.
where it's like where we mine Bitcoin in lava pools.
So Jared, you were gonna finish up with the
so
Bitcoin.
I remember last time, James, you brought this up. You were questioning whether they were going to actually like force people to accept Bitcoin. And
right,
from what I read,
from
what I read, yeah, that is allegedly the case. From what I heard. So that kind of sucks. I mean, you should be able to accept whatever you want at your business, but
right,
what are you going to do?
We could have like an anarchy volcano layer.
I don't know. I mean, it was interesting talking to my coworker because I was just like, would you ever consider moving back? Like, what's the economy like there? Like, is there investment opportunities? Like, could you make a fuck ton of, because he's a U.S. citizen, his wife is, and like, was like, do you ever consider moving back there? Like maybe just hustling here? And I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe it's something I'll keep an eye on and like keep a conversation with him going. So I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Yeah, I want to see how it goes. I asked my lady friend if she wanted to go there and check it out, and she's like, "No, the crime rate's too high." And I was like, "Oh, like I was going to argue," and so I go to like look up the crime rate to say like, "Oh, it's not that bad." I think it's the worst in the world.
Oh shit! Damn.
So, I mean, normally I'll say like, oh, with any country, like I don't go to bad neighborhoods in Philly. Don't go to bad neighborhoods in Nicaragua. You'll be fine. Like don't sweat it. Don't worry about,
Yeah.
If you keep, if you know how to handle yourself and you know where to go and you know how to take, travel safely, I would say it's not a big deal. But at the same time, it's like, it is the highest crime rate in the entire world. If I read it right, like, I guess
maybe wait for Bitcoin to take hold there for a little bit before you.
Right.
But it also, my research also indicated that the crime rate had dropped by like 20% over like 2 years ago. So there might be already a trend towards a dramatically better situation with crime. And if you certainly bring in more prosperity, I mean, I think that's definitely going to, make sure that there's better security and that there's just, less desperate people. So,
exactly. Because if you got a Columbus, Central America, you got to have like McAfee money and have your own private security and arms. I
hope John McAfee's listening to the show right now from
wherever
he is, where he faked his death. I hope he gets away with it.
Yeah, I hope the kill switch.
Extremist,
right? Maybe he unleashed the kill switch, and all this is coming out. Everything's going to be exposed.
Somebody said something that was that maybe the kill switch was the files were in that building in Miami that collapsed mysteriously.
I did hear that.
Yeah,
I had some Q guy.
Someone was saying that he owned like an apartment there or something.
Yep, that's in the Q. That's in the Q sphere.
Yeah,
I have one of these guys I work with. He came to me. He was like, "Did you hear about McAfee?" I'm like, "How do you know about McAfee?" I'm like, "You're a Trump guy." And he was just like, I think he owned an apartment in that building collapse in Miami. I'm like, "What building collapse?" Like, get away from me! Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
My dad was saying the same shit. Like, my dad gets the Q drops, and he was telling, I'm like,
Papa Schlegel.
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, you got too much time in your
Apple
hands.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
No, but I'm like, Dad, you got too much time in your hands. You're going down this like Q rabbit hole. But I'm like, but I heard the same thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I listened to the Propaganda Report with who's it, Monica Perez, and and I'm like, I'm listening to it. I'm like, yeah, something seems a little sus with this building collapse. But to tie it to I'm like, McAfee wouldn't have. I don't know. Like, it just seems a little.
I think McAfee would murder like 140 people or whatever.
Right.
Like,
or
no, that's how many people died.
Maybe the FBI blew up the building to like prevent the files from being released if they suspected that's where the server was or something.
Right.
Hey, I'm not going to do Q's job. You got to just check with Q if you want to get more details on that one. Okay.
Well, there are some like fishy. The reporting on it is very suspicious. It just seems a little like, wait, what the fuck?
It's always suspicious.
Well, the other thing too, when you're seeing the media coverage of it, CNN literally was leading in, interviewing the secretary, one of fucking Biden's stooges, one of his secretaries. And the CNN reporter just led in with about this tragedy of this building in Miami and basically was like, steering the conversation to like, well, it's on the beach and with the sea levels rising. And she basically was trying to like lead her in like, oh, this was a tragedy of climate change, and we need to do everything.
Boy, I think you get a bonus every time you can link in climate change on CNN.
Yeah, if you can,
I think it's like like every time.
So it's kind of like,
so it says there's so far there's 22 deaths, but they're still searching for 126 people. So and it's been like several days, so probably
damn.
I I had not heard anything about that.
But it's fucking weird. Like, that's the thing, dude. Like, we were up at Porkfest. We were like, a lot of shit happened during Porkfest.
Wait, did McAfee die when you were up at Porkfest?
Yeah. I was like,
on the way up, I guess.
Yeah, on the way up.
Because Alex and I, we got there on Thursday. We showed up like Thursday afternoon.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit! Like, all these things are happening.
I just hope to God he faked his own death. I mean, he had billions at one time, right? Like, when you've got that kind of money, you can fake your own death.
I mean, he faked that.
He was able to send tweets from prison. He had some favor. Yeah. He knew some people.
Yeah,
maybe he did some El Chapo type shit, right?
Right. Or remember, he faked his own. He faked a heart attack to get out of prison and wherever he was after he escaped.
Dude, how awesome would that be if he just like emerged in like on some boat in the middle of like international water and he's like, "Fuck y'all bitches."
That'd be the best thing ever.
See, no, that's not how you fake your own death. You fake your own death to never come back.
That's true.
That's the idea. But right?
At some point, you got to like come back and be like, just so everyone knows that you got like you pulled it over on him.
Yeah,
like you're like on your death. Like you're on your deathbed at like 85 and you're like,
he's on that island with Biggie and
call the reporters.
Would it, you know what? I think it might be a fitting tribute. And didn't know John McAfee but he seems like the kind of person that maybe if we created what seems like him, proving that he's still alive out there on some other island in the South Pacific, giving the finger, like, somehow like create our own hoax that like he lives
CGI John.
Yeah, somehow like just perpetuate that, like he could, whether it's true or not, he could become a symbol and a rallying point for people to just, give the finger to the man, to run, to not comply, try to escape.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't die from a drug overdose before this. Like, to be entirely honest with you.
But that cocaine campaign video, or it wasn't his campaign video, but yeah.
Holy wasn't it him like announcing his?
I watched some of. I watched.
He was like did a line of coke.
Fucking awesome. It's a fucking wild man. Fucking wild man.
He's the best. But.
That documentary on it was a total hit piece. But did you guys ever see that documentary on Netflix?
Nah, I've been meaning to though.
Yeah, it was basically a hit. Well, you never fucking know, but interesting to kind of tie in like with what's going, like considering like moving to El Salvador. It kind of ties into that documentary where he moved. I forget shit. It was Costa Rica, right? That's where I don't know. I could go
where the government was like trying to kill him or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, they basically said he was he murdered his neighbor, but at the same token, like. But then he not paid off, but he basically invested a lot into the town and into the police department and the security, etc. And then he had his own private security, like heavily armed. So like, you ever wonder like, all right, well, was he maybe crossed or at some point like, hey, we got to get rid of this guy, or the government of Costa Rica like turned on him to do a favor for, I don't know. It just seems like a hit piece. I mean, granted, he's a fucking wild man, so who knows? But I don't know. You might have to watch it. It's been a while since I watched it. I probably saw it like a couple years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I really regret. We were like very close to having him be a guest on the show.
Oh, damn, that's right.
This was before like Zoom and shit. So like
in the before times.
Yeah, so like doing like we had to use like Skype and shit, and we had to like pump it into our. And we were using like old shitty MacBooks. Like we couldn't support it technically. So unfortunately we had to bail.
He was calling from like a flip phone. And he basically was
we were like, oh, can you just get on Google Hangout? Because that would work better for some reason. And he was like, no, I only have Skype. And we were like, all right, well, we can't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, I remember you came over to back to Anarchy Basement at Bergman's. And you came over like 2-3 hours like prior to the podcast. And like Bergman was like freaking out because I'm like, Bergman, chill the fuck out. Like I was like, calm the fuck down. Jared will figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? But he was
figured it out. It was just like our shitty ass like laptops couldn't handle it.
No, and that was the thing because remember, like before he got the new Mac, it would like always fucking overheat.
Yeah, that thing was a piece of shit.
Right. And
so there's nothing I could do.
And John, when he was very like, no, I only do, and he's calling from a flip flip phone and God knows where, like somewhere around the world.
Probably like in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
And we had to do it at a weird fucking time. And it was and we your friend like trying to
instead we had Gary Johnson on.
Right. We've had fuck. Yeah, because that was the time. Yeah. And then Gary Johnson
like next week or something.
Yeah,
Gary,
he actually showed up to the house.
But he was actually at the house, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I'll give him credit for that. But Gary, I'll send the cops to murder you to bake the cake, Johnson, you know. But
So Gary Johnson was at your house?
he was
at Matt's house.
at Bergman's.
Oh, okay. Did he bring weed? Like
Um,
I'd be like, I mean, if he showed up at my house, I'd be like, all right, you at least better have like a suitcase full of edibles, whatever.
He didn't smoke that time. The whole interview, the whole night, he didn't smoke at all.
Nah, because he was also like, I think right after that he was going to they had like an event for him at the Alewife, which is like this like awesome restaurant. Well, I think it closed. Maybe
It closed. Remember we went there? Oh,
But it
that's
was a
right. We
dope
were all
restaurant.
there.
Yeah.
We were all there. It was Alewife closed. It was just cool. It was on Utah Street in Baltimore, and it was an old bank, and they had really good food. And Bergman, Matt knew the chef that worked there.
Chad.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. That was a great event. Basically, they rented the whole upstairs, and there was probably a good probably about 100 people, right, Jared? It was a good turnout.
Yeah, it was a good turnout.
Yeah, and I don't know, but here's the thing: where the fuck are all those people now? They're all checked the fuck out, you know. But I digress, because
they weren't involved ideologically.
No, it was basically like, oh, cool, here's a third option, but whatever. It's Gary John. Oh, cool.
Right, here's like maybe we can get some power for our asshole.
Yeah,
because because we don't have power in that other club.
Yeah, he waters down libertarianism. Hey, he's kind of cool, smokes weed, he climbs mountains, businessman, former Republican. Hey, legalized weed, but just whatever. Like, where the fuck are all those people? It was a cool fucking event. Like, Bergman set that up. It was great beers. They had like that place unfortunately closed because it was kind of like in a sketch neighborhood of Baltimore. So, yeah, great. Like so many beers on tap. That place was dope. But
yeah, it sucks because like I had no clue about any of these events around that time. Like because I was like checked out on the LP. I was checked out too. The LP. The only reason I knew about it was like Bergman and probably you, Jared, were like, "Hey, he's coming up on the podcast," and then like,
I mean, I wasn't like an LP member.
Yeah, we were just
I was just like, yeah, we'll get fucking Gary Johnson on our like little podcast that we're doing. Like, fuck yeah, why not? Like,
if you guys go to PRLpodcast.com, you can still like search it up and listen to it. It's all up there, and
it's like episode 212 or something, or just search his name.
Oh no, way before that. This is like 46 or something.
Yeah, this was way back in the before times.
Damn,
this was like probably the first couple. I don't even think was that audio only or was there video? I think it was audio only. It was just audio. Yeah, so
because he didn't come down to the basement. He set up in Matt's living room. He sat on the couch and interviewed Gary Johnson. It was pretty weird, just to think about. But it was cool. Like before, this is before podcast kind of took off, and this is like probably about a year before I joined the podcast. So I didn't even know about this event going on. I probably would have posted to something like that.
Who would you rather have in your basement, Gary Johnson or John McAfee?
Oh, John McAfee.
John McAfee.
Oh, hell yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
John McAfee he was going to come to the Pennsylvania debate when they were all running for president. He was confirmed to be one of the debating presidential candidates. And like that day, his manager called up and be like, "Oh, he can't make it because of the weather, and there's no more flights or something like that." And meanwhile, like Richard Schwartz, like is like a super like expert on like airlines and getting flights and deals and stuff. And he's like immediately like, "Oh, here's a bunch of flights right here. We can get them here, no problem." And they're like,
Actually, he's got a cocaine hangover.
Yeah, like they totally bullshitted us, and like we flagged them on it, immediately, and they're just like, so whatever. I think that I don't think there's I don't think anybody would disagree with saying that like McAfee's a bullshitter. like pushing some shit coin for pumping it like on a pump and dump scam, or like
he was like the king of that shit in 2016, 17.
Yeah, and we're not talking about. I mean, I like his attitude, and I like his disregard for authority, but I wouldn't take anything he says at face value.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it for him.
I would have voted for Austin Peterson.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping he's out there, man. I'm hoping he's out there listening to the show right now from whatever like sailboat he's on or whatever.
Maybe he's on Epstein's Island.
dude. Maybe
Somebody's got to start using it again,
right?
Somebody's got to repurpose it for a good cause.
Maybe we'll send
the Fed's already doing that. Don't worry.
We'll send Luke out to
or the same cause.
to check out Epstein's Island again.
The FBI found a new.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah.
What happened? What?
Luke Radowski and some dudes went to Epstein's Island.
No way.
Yeah. You never saw that episode?
No. I mean, I don't watch Luke Radowski.
It was Luke and who's it? The Dollar Vigilante? The dude from
that guy.
I forget his name, but yeah, they both like
they're both kind of
charter a boat.
insufferable, to be honest.
Yeah, Dollar Vigilante. It's just
like Luke showed up at the Pork Fest that I went to, and like he was like walking around like he was too cool for school, like he had on like these sunglasses, and he was just like,
yeah, but he always does that.
I was like okay, dude.
Which is funny because before I knew the name, but I just never knew the face to it. You know, you just hear the name. So in 2019, when me and Kyle went to the Ron Paul event in Dulles, Virginia, we sat down at a table, and this guy just sits down next to us, just eating a sandwich. He's just like he has like a little sandwich. He's just eating a sandwich and just
like
watching it.
Was it like a finger sandwich? Because you're kind of like
right.
Yeah,
right.
It was kind of like it wasn't like a whole fucking sandwich, like a big old fucking hoagie. It was like
it was just like a little thing. It was just a little sandwich he's eating.
It's so dainty, so dainty.
It was very dainty, and like I didn't realize people were coming up to him, and like they were
hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah, they were talking to him and like asking him like, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then like after he got up, I recognized like, oh shit, that's Luke. Like, oh shit, like we are changed. Okay, like that makes sense. I get it now. And and he was also at Pork Fest this year. He was at Pork Fest. He had
this fucking German Shepherd with like
I
was a little like I'm like your dog's a little like I mean
aggressive?
It seemed pretty no, but there was a couple times where I'm like, yo, this dog's gonna fuck one of these dogs up. Like like because there was like a bunch of dogs up at Pork Fest. And I was kind of like, hey man, like I don't think your dog like I was kind of like I don't know, super high. So I get in my like I get in my Caesar Milan mind or like, the dog whisperer. And I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Bad vibes from this dog, man.
Yeah. I'm like, this dog's
up to no good.
Yeah. I was kind of like, your dog seems a little like it seems pretty well trained, but it's not a Jedi yet. And this dog might fuck one of these like little yappers, like these little fucking, because I mean,
Pomeranians.
I got a boxer pit mix and I'm like, I was thinking I was like, she'd be pretty cool, but I'm like, no, she would not. I'm not bringing this dog to Pork Fest. It's like, so I was kind of like a little sketched out. I was like, I don't think this is a Pork Fest dog, man. Like I was a little sketched out. So I said hi to him, but to your point,
it's like bringing your dog to a rock concert.
Yeah.
No, I mean, would you bring your dog to a rock concert? I just don't think maybe it's not going to be the best environment for a lot of dogs.
Right, especially
all those people, all of those smells, all of those noises, all of that excitement, that could freak a lot of dogs out.
Especially dogs that aren't particularly social, not that well trained, or B that are super fucking protective. Like my dog
was Tim.
I mean, if you got like an old sleepy dog with like bad hips, that's a good dog. That's a Pork Fest dog.
That's a
question. Was Tim Davis there?
No, unfortunately, I reached out to him before to see if he was going this year. I think he had like a wedding or he had something else going on.
When I went, he had his dog there, and his dog was like so like his dog was just running around, like, super well behaved, like always like coming back. And
if you got a friendly dog, that's a Pork Fest dog. But if you have a dog that's like, I don't know, you just
that's not like too kind to strangers. Yeah,
right.
Keep that one home.
Yeah, you want a dog that
I got to dog sit at Pork Fest for Jacob Hornberger. When he did his speech, I got to hold Jacob's dog. Did you know Jacob has a dog now?
No.
I missed the speech, but I got to take care of this dog. And it is true. Like, girls come up and talk to you when you have a dog. It's it totally works.
Was that this year he spoke?
Yeah. So this is
nice.
how. So I got up at like 5:30 in the morning. I stayed up at my brother's house in Reading, Pennsylvania. So my girl,
reading.
Reading. So my girl Tiara and I are like drive up from Reading. We leave my brother's house at like 5:30 in the morning. So my brother watched my dog, because speaking of dogs. So we drive from Reading, leave at 5:30 in the morning. I got there about 2:00. So I was like texting Otto, and I was like, hey man, like, and he came up with Kyle, one of our other our Mises organizers in Maryland. So they were driving up together, and he's like, yeah, we're about 2 hours behind. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, and they were staying at Babs's site, and literally Bab's site and my site was like right down, like just literally 3 doors down, and or campsites down. But so I go, like, I set up the tent, park the truck, get all settled, change, kind of freshen up. My girl freshens up. We walk down to the pavilion. Jake, I was like, oh shit! Like, we just got here, like. Literally, like she like printed out the whole itinerary. Like, my girl's such a fucking tour guide, so she had like. But I'm like, I'm glad you did, because like, cool. Now I know the whole weekend itinerary.
Right.
Like,
yeah, we kept having to check our phones.
Yeah, and I don't want to be on my phone all the time. So it's like, hey, wake up, drink your coffee. Like, what's going on today? Just checking down the list. So I didn't even like. We just get there. We're getting our bearings straight. Walk down to the pavilion, and I'm like, oh shit, Jacob Hornberger's speaking about anyway, and then I'm sitting there and in the back, and I didn't want to like go in all the way into the pavilion because he was already like mid speech, so I was just out in the back and the outskirts by the picnic tables, and I see like this dog, and it was this little like puppy, like lab, like very rambunctious. And I'm like, oh man, this dude is struggling holding this dog, because it was one of those retractable leashes, which are the worst leashes. If you have a big dog that's pulling, you're a retard having a retractable leash. Like, you got to have it on it. Yeah, it's like, look,
that was me.
Yes. So literally, I'm like, this guy's fucking struggling with a dog, and I walk up and I'm like, oh fuck, it's Babs. And this is after driving like 10 hours. Like, up early in the morning, like setting up a tent. And I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, holy shit, it's Babs. And he's like, hey.
This dog was hyper
as shit.
Yeah.
Puppy. Like it was like a Labrador. Puppy.
Big but young,
Yeah, like super rambunctious, barking, like in the middle of Jacob's feet. So I'm like, oh shit, it's Babs. And he's like, yeah, this is Jacob Hornberger's dog. So then like Tiara, like, dude, she was loving the fact that there's all these dogs up at Pork Fest. So I was like, oh shit, this is my friend Jim. Like, hey, this is my girlfriend. And like, it was right when I got to Pork Fest. It was so fucking cool bumping into Babs that way. But,
let's continue. Yeah, I want to talk about Pork Fest. So why don't why don't we move this on over to the after hours? We'll make it a quick one. Kind of give our recap of how everything went and all the events and all the drama that went down. Just, a definitely big thank you. James, for letting us stay at your spot, man. That was awesome. That was so generous of you to do,
totally
man.
Great having you.
Yeah,
dude. Can't wait for next year.
I'm so excited for next year. But we just wanted to let you guys know that our After Hours podcast, we're going to talk more about the Pork Fest. We're going to record it right after this. Please sign up for our Patreon, please. It greatly help us out. If you don't want to join Patreon or anything else,
it's only for extremists
only. Yeah, if you guys want to live extreme, like to the extreme, please sign up for our Patreon or go to PRLfans.com and find out other ways to donate to the show. Send us some Bitcoin.
Just $1 a month will get you in the Patreon extremist level.
Yeah, $1 or one Bitcoin. That's all.
Send us some Bitcoin.
Either one.
It starts going back up again.
Yeah.
Right.
So
almost the same.
And we also we have t-shirts for sale over at libertariancountry.com. If you use the code PRL at PRL Podcast, you get yourself a 10% discount, or use the code PRL2 and get yourself a 20% discount if you spend $50 or more. We're brought to you tonight by Hidden in Plain Sight by Moral Bob, his podcast. And until next time, everybody, live free
or die.